Do you know where to hide when disaster strikes? Welcome to our survival guide that delves into the top 7 shelters to seek when calamity comes knocking. It's not just about finding a place to lay your head, it's about finding a fortress where safety and survival are paramount. We'll be journeying through a variety of havens, from the serenity of campgrounds and the isolation of remote cabins to the robustness of parking garages and the resourcefulness of large malls. We'll even dive into the subterranean world of subway stations and tunnels and sail into the prospects of boats as floating sanctuaries. And for those who prefer the high ground, we'll look into mountain huts and fire lookouts. Each of these shelters comes with its unique advantages and challenges, tailored to different survival scenarios. So, stick around as we explore the best places to take refuge when disaster strikes. First on our list we have campgrounds. These are often located on the outskirts of towns, providing a strategic distance from urban chaos. Here you'll find a blend of man-made and natural resources that can be of immense value in a survival situation. Campgrounds typically feature concrete restroom buildings, which can provide sturdy shelter. These are designed to endure the elements and can offer a safe haven during storms or other severe weather events. Moreover, the natural tree cover found in most campgrounds can also serve as a protective shield, obscuring you from the sight of potential threats. It can also act as a windbreaker, providing an added layer of protection against the harsh elements. In addition, campgrounds usually come with fire pits, which are crucial for warmth and cooking. Fire is a fundamental survival tool, providing heat, light, and a means to prepare food. In a survival scenario, having access to a ready-made fire pit can save precious time and energy. Furthermore, the location of campgrounds on the outskirts of towns makes them relatively accessible yet distant enough from the epicenter of most disasters. This allows for a quick escape route while also keeping you at a safe distance from the potential dangers of a crumbling urban environment. A campground could be your first go-to option, depending on your location and the nature of the disaster. It offers a balance of natural and man-made resources, and its location can provide the safety and strategic advantage you need when disaster strikes. Next up, parking garages. As urban fortresses, these multi-story constructions are more than just a place to park your car. In the midst of an urban disaster, they can become your go-to refuge. With their solid concrete and steel structures, they're designed to withstand heavier loads, making them a relatively safe shelter against environmental hazards. In addition to offering protection from the elements, they also provide a vantage point to keep an eye out for potential threats and dangers. And let's not forget, they're often centrally located, which means you could have access to nearby resources. But remember, while they do offer a good deal of protection, they are not impregnable. Always keep your senses alert for possible threats, from structural instability to unwelcome visitors. Parking garages, a concrete fortress in the midst of chaos. Let's go underground with subway stations and tunnels. These subterranean networks offer a unique kind of protection when the world above is no longer safe. Their primary advantage lies in their shelter from aerial threats and harsh weather conditions. Imagine a hurricane is ripping through the city, or perhaps there's civil unrest spilling onto the streets. What better place to hide than beneath the city itself? The sturdy construction of these tunnels and stations is designed to withstand the weight of the city above, providing you with a solid roof over your head. In addition, these vast networks can offer multiple exit and entry points, providing strategic routes for escape or scavenging expeditions. But remember, being underground also means being unseen. It's important to ensure your safety from other survivors who may also seek refuge in these spaces. Underground, out of sight, and out of danger. How about isolation? We have remote cabins. In the midst of chaos, sometimes the best refuge is a place far removed from the hustle and bustle of urban life. Remote cabins offer an ideal sanctuary, hidden away from the turmoil of disaster-stricken areas. Nestled in the heart of nature, these cabins provide a tranquil retreat and a strategic hideout when times get tough. But it's not all peace and quiet. Living in a remote cabin comes with its own share of challenges. You'll need to be self-reliant, able to source food, water, and other essentials from the surrounding environment. It's about living off the land, utilizing the resources at hand to survive. You might be miles away from the nearest grocery store or hospital, but with the right skills and knowledge, you can turn this into an advantage. The key to thriving in a remote cabin is preparation. Before disaster strikes, equip your cabin with essential tools and supplies. Learn about local flora and fauna and familiarize yourself with survival techniques like hunting, foraging, and basic first aid. And let's not forget the benefits. Remote cabins offer unparalleled security and privacy. Away from the crowds, you're less likely to encounter looters or other threats. Plus, there's something to be said for the healing power of nature, a beacon of hope in a world turned upside down. Remote cabins, your isolated sanctuary. In the heart of the city, we find large malls. These modern-day marketplaces can be an oasis of resources in times of disaster. With a multitude of stores, you can find everything from food and water to clothing and medical supplies, all under one roof. The vast square footage of these structures also provides ample space for setting up camp and staying out of the elements. However, it's not all a walk in the park. Large malls are not only visible from a distance, but are also well-known landmarks. This means that they can attract both survivors and the less savory types, like looters. They are also typically located in populated areas, which could pose a risk if the disaster you're facing is widespread and ongoing. As for the structure itself, malls are typically built solidly, designed to accommodate large crowds and to withstand extreme weather. This makes them a potentially safe haven if you're dealing with environmental hazards. But remember, with such a vast arena and potential for other survivors to be present, a strategic approach is key. Think about how to secure your area, how to ration supplies, and how to handle any potential conflicts that arise. Large malls, a treasure trove of resources, if you're careful. They can be a beacon of hope in a desolate cityscape, offering shelter, supplies, and a chance at survival in a world turned upside down. Taking refuge on water, we have boats. In the vast expanse of the open water, a boat can serve as a sanctuary, a refuge that keeps you afloat, both literally and figuratively, in times of crisis. When we talk about boats as survival shelters, we're not just talking about luxury yachts. A wide range of boats can serve this purpose, from sturdy fishing vessels to sailboats and even houseboats. Fishing boats designed to brave the elements can be a fantastic option. They are built robustly, and often come equipped with features like rod holders and live wells, which can come in handy for survival fishing. Sailboats, on the other hand, provide the advantage of wind-powered mobility, saving you precious fuel. Houseboats offer the unique advantage of providing a homely living space on water, complete with basic amenities. Regardless of the type of boat you choose, there are certain key supplies you should always keep on board. First and foremost, a reliable communication device is crucial. Marine radios can help you stay connected with the outside world and receive important updates or distress signals. Next, consider your basic needs: food, water, and shelter. Stock up on non-perishable food items and fresh water. A desalination device can be a worthwhile investment for long-term survival at sea. And of course, make sure your boat has adequate shelter to protect you from the elements. Lastly, don't forget safety essentials like life jackets, flares, and first aid supplies. These can be life-saving in emergency situations. Also, a good quality knife and fishing gear can be invaluable for hunting and preparing food. Remember, a boat is not just a mode of transport, but a potential home in times of crisis. It can provide you with the mobility to navigate away from danger zones, access remote areas for resources, and offer a level of isolation from potential threats on land. So when disaster strikes, and you find yourself near a body of water, consider seeking refuge on a boat. Equip it well, and it can become more than just a shelter. It can be your floating sanctuary. Boats, your floating sanctuary. High up and isolated, we have mountain huts or fire lookouts. These structures are often scattered across mountainous terrains, designed to withstand the harshest of weather conditions. They are typically sturdy, made to endure the relentless onslaught of wind, rain, or snow that characterize these lofty locations. The solitude of these shelters can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, their isolation reduces the risk of unwanted encounters with desperate survivors or looters. This solitude can provide not just physical safety but also mental peace, a rare commodity in times of disaster. On the downside, though, reaching these shelters can be challenging. They are often located on high altitudes, requiring a degree of physical fitness and outdoor skills to access. Also, you would need to be well stocked with supplies, as these locations are far from any source of resupply. But if you're prepared, these shelters can prove to be an excellent refuge. They usually offer a panoramic view of the surroundings, allowing you to keep an eye out for potential threats or changes in the environment. The isolation can also be an advantage when it comes to hunting or foraging, as competition for resources would be minimal. Mountain huts or fire lookouts, a sanctuary in the sky, if you can reach them and have the supplies to sustain, they can be your fortress of solitude where you can weather out the worst of disasters. And there you have it, our top 7 SHTF shelters. From the sturdy structures of campgrounds and parking garages to the strategic isolation of remote cabins and mountain huts, each shelter has its unique strengths. Subway stations and tunnels offer protection from aerial threats, while large malls provide resources in addition to shelter. And let's not forget the floating sanctuary a boat can become. But remember, the most suitable shelter depends on your specific circumstances. It's crucial to assess your situation, consider your options, and make an informed decision. The best shelter is the one that keeps you and your loved ones safe. Preparation and knowledge are your best allies when disaster strikes. So equip yourself with as much information as possible and always be ready to adapt. Like, subscribe, and comment below. Stay safe, stay prepared, and remember, knowledge is your ultimate survival tool.